Hi, and welcome to the last episode of our Jobs for Grads podcast. Today we are here at Jobs TB with Miss Frida, who is a marketing manager here. So could you tell us a little bit about your organization and your role in it?
Sure. So JobsDB is an online job portal. We are present in a few countries, namely Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia and Thailand. What we aspire is to match businesses with talent. So our mission is really to improve lives through better careers. Myself as a marketing manager, basically what I do is to promote the values and the services that JobsDB offer to both candidates and hirers.
I see. So what is your role in this job now?
So like I mentioned, right, what we usually do is we educate candidates about the job market. We match them to hirers. We actually organize networking events for them as well.
So they will through these events,
to interact directly with hirers.
I see. So could you tell us a little bit more about yourself as well, so we can get to know you a bit better?
Okay, so I have been in JobsDB for close to 2 years now, in the human resource industry for about 5 years, in total in the workforce more than 10 years.
More than 10 years. So you were here only for 2 years?
With JobsDB.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So back before JobsDB, where were you?
I was also in the online job portal. So actually, I'm not sure if most of you know, but JobsDB and JobStreet, we are actually under this parent company called SeekAsia. Yeah. So prior to being with JobsDB, I was with JobStreet.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So just under the same parent company.
Yes, SeekAsia.
I see. Okay. So actually talking about nowadays, the employment rate and whatever, do you think that there's a huge difference in the current employment market right now and then back in the days?
Well, definitely. So if we just have to compare, now versus 5 years back, perhaps, to make just a comparison, 5 years back, it was really a job seeker market. So candidates had the upper hand, right? So they have the power to actually be more selective, more picky in the types of jobs they want to do. They were a lot more demanding because there were so many jobs available. But right now, the current situation, as we all know, Singapore is facing a economic slowdown.
Yeah.
So the current situation is actually where there are more candidates vying for jobs, and there are not enough jobs. Yes, for everyone. Yes. So I think the current situation is where people need to start moderating their expectations. Things are not as good as how it was a few years back in terms of job market. It can be challenging, and graduates might take a longer time to enter the workforce.
Because of there's more people seeking for jobs, where there is more jobs available. I see.
Right.
So what do you actually mean by moderate expectations?
Well, you see, everyone, when they want to look for a job, there's usually a criteria in mind, right? So during good times, they tend to be very selective. There is like a checklist in the mind. I need this new job to offer me this before I accept it.
So you mean like certain income, certain rank in the company?
The checklist could include, job roles. I need a promotion. I need a certain percentage of pay rise. Things like that. So they have these things in mind, like what benefits I want, what pay I want, what kind of role I want, so specific like that. So this have to be moderated. So for example, for graduates, they can moderate in terms of placing pay, salary as the focus. They should think more about gaining the experience first. In terms of job role, job fit, they should explore wider job functions instead of sector specific or like very specialized segments. Okay, and also perhaps moderate in terms of the time needed to look for a job. So they should bear in mind that given the stiffer competition now, it may take a longer period of time. I think more importantly, right, graduates should really focus on making themselves more employable. So focus on improving their employability skills, like maybe they should seek some experience volunteering or even taking internships while they are still in their
school curriculum and stuff.
Precisely, because this would all add to their advantage when they look for a job later when they are ready to join the workforce.
So in other words, you're saying that work experience is quite important,
it's quite important because
especially now there's so much competition.
Yes, because unlike many years back where you could say having a degree is like almost a golden ticket to a good career.
Yeah, I would say
right
so.
now, there's so many graduates in Singapore, and
especially
the number is increasing
from uni.
Yeah, precisely. The number of graduates are increasing every year. So just being equipped with academic qualification is not sufficient. Yeah, recruiters are actually looking beyond that. Yeah.
What employer skills or employee skills, not employer skills, employee skills do you think that employers themselves would want to observe in somebody that they are maybe potentially want to hire?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, right? Now with so many degree graduates, there is more than enough candidates equipped with the technical skills.
Yeah.
So in order for you to stand out, it's actually not the technical skills that count, but really the transferable and the soft skills that count. So more and more, hirers are placing more emphasis on social and soft skills above technical skills. So when I talk about transferable skills and soft skills, what I meant is like your communication skills. So being able to effectively communicate, verbal or written, and your collaborative skills, so meaning being able to work in teams, and also having good emotional intelligence, meaning you are very able to manage yourself, your self-awareness, managing your emotions, being self-motivated, that's important as well, and being agile, so because in being agile, what we mean is being adaptable. In this kind of fast-paced environment, you just need to be very agile and very responsive to any kind of environment. Yeah.
So talking about soft skills, right? Not only about communication skills or emotional intelligence, but I was wondering if connections is actually quite important.
Definitely. In fact, I think particularly so for graduates. So for JobsDB, we do organize networking sessions for fresh graduates to get a chance to meet hirers. Sometimes we even organize events where they do mock interviews. So this would prepare them for the workforce, when they actually go for a real interview, how it is like.
I see.
So I think networking is very important. Graduates should seize every opportunity to build up their professional contacts, get to know more people, try to get name cards, and try to make an impression for every professional contact that you met so that they can remember you somehow.
So be more sociable.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, like, I would assume that some maybe uni degree holders, right, they are slightly a little bit more, I wouldn't say narrow-minded, but they are so specific about the jobs they want, or when they come to you and they say that, I want this certain company, I want this certain pay, I want this certain rank. How do you actually do to help them, or do you actually advise them to lower down their expectations?
I think usually I am very frank, so I prefer to go by the brutally honest route, where I tell them they can continue to have these expectations and stick to it, but they must know by doing so they will take a much longer time to enter the workforce. Yeah, so I mean, of course, now given the current situation, they have to be mindful also that because of stiffer competition, there should be some moderation of expectations in order for them to join the workforce faster. So like just now I was mentioning, right, they should moderate in terms of salary expectations, job roles. If they want to be so specific, it may be much harder for them to find relevant jobs or opportunities. So why not just take up a role that is not really their aspiration, but work towards there from, just a stepping stone, and then just work towards there. Yeah, so get into the workforce first, gain some experience, because these skills are definitely working to your advantage when you move on to your career elsewhere next time.
Yeah, especially this kind of networking skills doesn't come easy. You have to go through certain things, meet different people, and get to maybe change your attitude somehow to actually fit some people's vibe, to actually get to know them better, make friends and whatever. That's how they make connections. But do you actually help them, and other than the networking events that you guys hold, but do you actually help them to maybe advise them on how they can portray themselves to other people to actually make them likable?
Yep. So what we do is we do hold career talks. We conduct career talks sometimes ourselves and sometimes with our partners to guide them in how they can equip themselves in terms of resume writing, building up a good career profile, as well as how they can present themselves in interviews professionally, so interview etiquette. So we do train them in such during career talks.
So actually now, right, do you think that the unemployment rate now is quite, I would say it's quite high, right? So in maybe from the years to come, maybe next year or 2018, maybe the employment rate will go up or will still remain the same?
I think the next couple of years, we're looking at a very conservative climate. Yeah, right. Because there's so many uncertainties around the world and not just in Singapore. So the global oil prices has also plunged. So we are probably not looking at a recovery until probably a couple of years later. Yeah, but having said that, there are still certain industries that are booming, expected to grow. There are still some job functions also that are highly sought after. So if I were to mention just a few, based on the number of jobs I see being posted on JobsDB, that would be like engineering, IT, accounting, administrative and human resources. These jobs functions, right, are always sought after. Yeah.
So those that are actually studying in these certain areas, they will have a higher chance, I would say.
Yeah, but you come to think of it this way, right? Most of companies in Singapore would require these functions anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So any companies that want to function well.
Precisely, and that's why there's always high demand for these functions.
Yeah, so let's just maybe jump into certain specific industries, like maybe the hospitality industry. So how do certain people, or maybe you probably have met some employers, seekers, job seekers, right? They want to go into this certain industry, but how do you think they can get themselves there? I know hospitality, there are a lot of people that are looking for hospitality job seekers lah, but then they usually not really can find the job or get the job they want.
For hospitality, I think usually internship counts. So I've heard a lot of candidates, right, fresh graduates, they tell me that their school will actually match them for internship with a hotel, and usually that hotel will offer them a permanent job after that.
Yeah, depending on how well they do.
Yes, correct. And in fact, talking from the employer's point of view, recently we did conduct a survey, and the number of employers in hospitality actually they expressed the intention to increase their number of staff next year because they have a slightly positive view of the job outlook next year. So in hospitality, right, they are expecting a slight increase in occupancy in 2017 compared to this year.
I see.
Yeah, right.
I see. So okay, just talking about hospitality, what about the media industry? Entertainment industry.
Okay. So basically, when we talk about media, right, I think we need to be cautious about how media has changed, has evolved over the years.
Yeah, they're constantly changing.
Yeah, so I think right now the focus is on new media. Traditional media used to be the focus, but right now everybody is going digital. So candidates looking at going into the media industry needs to be equipped with these new skills to be ready for the future. So new media has created some new roles such as like social media community manager, web developers,
definitely. Everyone's using social media.
Managers, precisely. So these are all new roles created in the media, and I think it will only grow in the digital space.
So do you actually have any advice for those people who are actually having difficulty in knowing what they want to do in the future?
I think particularly for fresh graduates, they have the luxury of trying out at the early stage of their career. So do experiment with more careers, like what you want to do until you find, what suits your cup of tea. Yeah, because later on, as you progress in your career, it's more difficult to make a career switch. So it's best to be in the experimental stage as early in the career as possible.
So just try and error and see what do they actually like to work as.
But usually this doesn't deviate too far away from what you have studied, the course of your qualifications. But I have seen candidates who went to a totally different course from what they have studied.
Oh, I see.
And choose to pursue their careers in other areas.
Okay.
Based on passion.
I see. So it's like based on what they want to do in the end. Yes. But also must go through a trial and error kind of stage where they need to know maybe they have just a lot of different type of jobs they want, and then end up they actually maybe only want to work for one.
Say for example, like myself, I'm in marketing, so there's so many segments of marketing that you could explore. For example, events, PR, A&P, you can do branding, you can do product marketing. So before you actually settle down on what you would like to focus in, maybe it's good for you to perhaps join a small company which allows you to multitask and be involved in all areas of marketing. Because if you go into like a big organization, very often it's very structured, so there's different departments handling different parts of marketing, so you get to only do what your department functions. So sometimes it's good to start off doing multitasking so they can learn faster.
So maybe instead of aiming for for a big organization, maybe just aim for those, maybe just startup company. Then probably they need more help than others especially.
That's also why I mentioned earlier, graduates should actually be more open-minded, keeping their options open, and not just focus on the branded companies. They are good, but there are also small companies that could offer a lot of opportunities to learn.
True. Thank you, Ms. Frida, for joining us today. So do you actually have anything else to add?
Yes, so we'll be coming down to RP for the career fair on 9th February. So see you there.
Thank you. So thank you all for watching this last episode of our Jobs for Grads podcast. And then all the relevant links will be down in the description bar below. And make sure to check out jobsdb.com. And thank you all for watching. Bye!